The Nook.
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 The Nook. Well, hello there, ladies, gentlemen,
Hello.
others.
Hey everyone, welcome into episode 2 with your hosts, Joe Crestination and KL. Joe, how are you today? What have you been up to the last couple of weeks?
Working. A lot of working. But recently I've also been playing through Sekiro again, which has been lovely. I've
Yes.
played it about a year and a half ago as my first FromSoft game, and now that I've played through all the FromSoft games, barring Demon Souls, I wanted to see if it still was my favorite, and yes it is. It's fantastic.
Nice. Guys, if you have not catched Joe yet playing Sekiro, I just threw his link in the chat. Please go and give him a follow. It has been very entertaining to watch. Glad to hear that it's still a favorite of yours.
Oh yeah, dying's never felt better.
Awesome. Guys, for today's podcast, welcome into episode 2. Today we're going to be talking about anticipated games that we either know of or hope will be released within the next 1.5 to 2 years. Soonish, we're going to call it. This is going to be a bit of a cozier stream today where we're basically just going to gush about games that are coming out soonish that we're looking forward to getting and playing.
Yeah, it's probably a good time to talk about them. I mean, we've got new graphics cards on the way and new consoles on the way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably a nice time to do it.
It's a very exciting time to be a gamer right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a heads up, we don't have any guests today on the podcast. Just Joe and I just want to do another episode where we're just still getting a feel for ourselves as hosts for something like
Getting
this.
the old feet wet, don't you know?
However, we did toss out a question to our fellow Nookians in the Nook Discord, asking them what games are you looking forward to and why. So we are going to include many of them on the podcast today. And then just a friendly reminder, just like before, we're not going to be reading and interacting with the chat very much. The intent of this podcast is to mimic a recorded podcast, but we do have many Nookians in the chat with us today that you can all talk to and interact with. So you're definitely not alone here. If you want to talk, please talk in the chat, and our fellow team members will be there to talk with you. With that, let's get into some awesome Nook updates because we do have a few. Of course, we have to talk about the Big Dig. This is the hardcore Minecraft that 14 of our Nookians are involved in, where they're passing along one save file. And if anyone dies, the world has to be restarted. There was one world within the past 2 weeks that actually lasted for quite some time, nearly the entire past 2 weeks since our last episode. It featured an IKEA. Should we say who goofed it?
I mean, it's going to come out eventually.
Yeah. King Arkaroth. He unfortunately got killed by a creeper. But this little village was awesome. It had an IKEA and it was a beautiful village. So we actually there was an IKEA, yeah, because of course there was.
Well,
that's what happens.
The first move I would have made was to confuse the creeper, was just go into the IKEA. It would have never found its way out.
Just create a maze for it. I just posted a link in the chat, guys. We have made this save file publicly available for all of you Minecraft players. For anyone that wants to actually go in and see and explore that Minecraft world, the link is there. Feel free to download it. Enjoy. It was a really cool world. And Lexi will be streaming the Big Dig today in about 2 hours, just under 2 hours. So if you do want to catch some of the action live after the podcast today, go give Lexi a follow. She will be streaming the Big Dig today. Next up, so the Nook Spotlight, which is the other podcast that we are doing that is being put out on YouTube, that is being run by Hampy. The first episode is live. That was with me. So if you guys don't know what the Nook Spotlight is, it's where Hampy is sitting down with a bunch of us one-on-one to interview us one-on-one and spotlight on one Nook member. And Happy is doing an excellent job with asking us questions ahead of time to kind of tailor the script around ourselves as individuals and our interests. So each episode will be different. Mine is up on our YouTube channel. if you would like to go check it out to know a bit more about me. And then J Jam Jim is the next Nook Spotlight, and he will be
Triple J.
He will be next weekend, so this upcoming Saturday. So if you're not subscribed to the YouTube, please do. Guys, we're almost at 100 subscribers on YouTube, which means that we can become youtube.com/the Nook instead of youtube.com/channel/letters and numbers all jumbled together.
It'd be nice to have a name.
Yes. So if you're not subbed, please do that. It would really help us out to get that actual name behind the youtube.com. So then that way it's not a jumbled URL address. Please and thank you. That would be awesome. And the last Nook update that we have is the pilot episode that Joe and I did 2 weeks ago is not only available to rewatch here on Twitch, but we also have that on our YouTube channel as well. So if you missed 2 weeks ago, Joe and I were here talking about how to start streaming. It was a pretty long podcast. It was almost 2 hours, but we had a great time with it.
Yeah,
it was really, really fun. No, it was fun. I think everybody enjoyed themselves. I know that I went back to the VOD and I actually watched and read through all the comments because obviously we're not doing that live. So I went back and I watched just to see what you guys all had said. It was really awesome to go back and read through all the comments. So thank you to everybody that came 2 weeks ago and participated here in the chat and supported us for the first episode. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Definitely made us a lot more comfortable with this. So thank you so much. With that, let's get into some, because we have actually a lot to talk about, Joe. We've got a lot to talk about today with Twitch news and gaming news.
Twitch, you gotta love Twitch, and well, their mid-roll. Well, what did they? It was a test, right? Isn't that what they classified this as?
Twitch is testing mid-roll ads that streamers cannot control.
Oh my goodness.
And it just kind of came out automatically. They just kind of made an announcement that said, hey, we're going to start testing this on certain creators. And you have no idea. Oh, I don't know if my internet is skipping out.
It did skip out for a moment. It's fine. I think it'll be okay.
I'm sorry.
I think it'll stabilize. It's fine.
Yeah. So Twitch did this and they didn't announce any kind of way. Like they didn't say, "Hey, you're gonna know when it's coming."
No, they didn't let anybody know. There was no way to opt out or anything. They're just like, "Hey, everybody, you've got ads now, whether you want them or not. You can't even." It seemed like now, did anybody ever find out was mid-roll ads on top of the first ad you get when you come into a stream as well?
Yes. So there was the pre-roll. There was the pre-roll ad, unless, of course, the streamer themselves had manually ran an ad to, get rid of the pre-rolls. So if they hadn't have done that, yeah, you go into a stream, you get your pre-roll ad, and then halfway through or whenever, then Twitch would just drop a mid-roll
another one
on it.
My goodness.
And there was a video that went like super viral.
I did have it up
Twitter.
on old Twitter.
That like Co-Carnage replied to, Baru, like a bunch of people replied to this because a streamer, Dominator Smilin, was watching the Sony live stream where they were doing all of their announcements, and he was right in the middle of watching the Hogwarts Legacy trailer. And Twitch just dropped a mid-roll ad, and it covered the entire stream. Yeah, let's watch it.
Yeah, it's about he's watching. He's getting excited. Twitch. God, that's so terrible. My goodness,
it's brutal.
It's terrible.
Because how it's supposed to work.
Look how this ad, it's eating up the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like the entirety of that game announcement, the trailer just destroyed. Wow.
His reaction was priceless too. His reaction was so priceless. Oh my gosh, yeah. Anyway, this video, like I'm really hoping that Sony saw this and maybe like sent Twitch a DM to be like, hey, what the heck, man?
Oh yeah, I've seen people doing like mock-ups of like how this might affect like previous big events for streamers in the past. Like I saw one for I can't remember the streamer's name, but he did the no-hit run through the entirety of the Soul series. Mm-hmm. So, and he finally did it. I couldn't imagine you've been sitting here watching this man go through try to beat every single one of those games without getting hit once, and he's on his final moment, and you get a mid-roll ad.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's no good now. Understandably, even though we don't want this to happen, I mean, they're gonna force ads.
They just need to find a smarter way to go about it.
They do, and honestly, like, you know, if they could take a page out of YouTube's book a little bit, where do you remember OG YouTube before they had their mid rolls, where they had an ad right at the beginning, but also like I'm talking like old school YouTube. Back when
like
you
banners?
would go into a video, the banner at the bottom, like the banner at the bottom that's transparent, or, you know, it covers a little bit of the bottom of the stream for like,
or there's the little
10
box
seconds
above the recommended section that would have the little ad there as well.
Like we have, like Twitch has, like there's space above the stream chat where you could temporarily, like, I'm sure that they could build the capability for this to, you know, so you have stream chat open and it's full length, you know, and then they could stick a mid-roll ad in there, make chat temporarily half the size while the ad does its thing and plays in the corner while the stream is still going. There's no blocking the stream, you know, like, because that's like the stream chat, like you could temporarily cover the leaderboard. The hype train does. The hype train covers the leaderboard currently.
Yeah.
You could easily just do the same thing with an ad temporarily.
Kind of pop it in there. Yeah,
like there's so much real estate up there, but
I feel like there's, I don't know. I have to go and look at we'll look at all Twitch real quick. I mean, there's like a bunch of space empty along the bottom as well.
You could, even when you're on the homepage of Twitch, like, or even when you're browsing for streams, you know, you've got your lines of streams. You could even just throw ads like in between those lines of streams. Like you could put ads there.
Yeah, I mean,
so that when people are scrolling for content, but
like they have the capability of, like, I don't know, because I've talked with you about it before, but they had the Prime watch parties, right? And I did watch a streamer who was watching The Boys on there, and it's like they already have a way for, like, because as soon as he starts up the show, like his stream moved up to like right above the chat, and then you know, on the big screen was whatever you were all watching together. And I feel like you could do just the same thing. I don't know about putting the streamer in a smaller spot, but you could play the ad up there. And like the functionality is there. They already have it built into their website. Like for this, for the watch parties, like they could just throw ads there. I don't understand why.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, like people are not going to be happy. Like streamers and viewers are not going to be happy if the actual stream is blocked or muted in any capacity, or even made smaller. Like, I don't think any of that is going to fly. So yeah, Twitch is going to have to.
Hurts,
this is a struggle. Like, this is a struggle for them. Like, it's hard to empathize with a big giant like this, especially when Amazon is the one that, you know, because Twitch didn't meet their ad revenue goals that they had set. And so, of course, you know, the big boss, Amazon, is like, okay, we got to get ad revenue up. It's just like the struggle is that this content is live. If we were another YouTube, it would be simple, but we're not. We're live, and there's no good point in a stream to force the mid rolls without the streamers having control of it. It'll be interesting to see because there was that new feature of the stream manager that got unlocked and kind of thrown on us last minute, which manager? I think they took it away because they dropped it, and then they realized, oh, we're actually going to revert our decision on the mid rolls for now, and they took it away. But it was an ad manager section for the streamer in the dashboard. There wasn't anything there. It was completely blocked off, saying something like you don't have access to it right now. But
they're like in the background trying to figure something out.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see A, what kind of control they give us, and B, how the mid roll is actually implemented on the stream. I'll just tell you from my experience, like I don't take very many breaks during my stream. I take like one break in my 4 hours of streaming. So if it's going to be one of those things where they're gonna like want us to play a mid-roll, like it's just gonna be one of those like wait and see things. But I already know that I'm likely gonna have to change up a little bit how I do things in order to accommodate this whole ad thing.
I don't know, like the worrying, like having to worry about.
I know.
Like, I just don't like. I just like it's just like live streaming is such a different beast to like watching TV or watching a YouTube video, because there's no like unless a streamer structures their content within like what 15-minute increments, 30-minute increments, like you'd have to like set your stream up to where like it's so disruptive of any flow, like.
And it's also not suitable for every type of streamer, because like, you know, there's so many championships and competitions on Twitch that like they can't just stop something that's in a competition to
Rainbow
run an
Six ad, or Valorant or Overwatch. Like your match is or a League of Legends. League of Legends games take 30 minutes on average. And so what, like halfway through my game, all right, well, you know, we're only in the mid game where the most important shit's happening. Everybody here, watch an ad for a minute while, you know, possibly the game turning team fight breaks out. Like I just don't I don't know what they can do. They have to find some way to implement it on the website that doesn't take away from the actual live content happening.
Anyway, I think it was like a week, maybe not even. It wasn't very long after they rolled it out that they ended up removing the automatic mid-roll ads. For now, they said. They did respond to somebody on Twitter who kind of asked like, hey, is this still happening or is it gone? And they said, hey, Brian Ido, we've concluded the test, so viewers will no longer see mid-roll ads. We've gone through a lot of the feedback provided on the original tweet, user voice, etc., and we'll take this into account before we execute on any future ad changes. And that person had said, I don't remember what they had said. They said they basically announced like that they were testing. It was actually not even a week, September 14th to September 17th. So it was 3 days. 3 days, and people were just freaking out. And this one person said, so what does this mean? Are mid-rolls still a thing? Are they over? Because Twitch support 3 days later said, thank you for all of your feedback. We've completed the test.
Your feedback. Oh, y'all didn't like that. Don't worry, it was just a test. We'll come out with something different later.
Pretty much. Anyway, so that was that on the ad shenanigans. But I think everybody,
well, you know, just Twitch as always, just knocking it out the park.
Oh yeah,
with their ideas.
This whole month has actually been, Twitch has been kind of in hot water this whole month with various things. The mid-roll ads was definitely like the big thing, but oh my gosh, we could go into talking about September. We could go into talking about their really awful emote ideas that they had for the Hispanic.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Thing that they were doing. Yeah, they like put out emotes.
They definitely have like, I don't know. They have not been on point at all.
I think we should move on to some more exciting news. That's not
well. Yeah. Okay. The next thing we're moving on to is the Microsoft / Xbox Bethesda. Was it buyout?
Buyout.
It was, or is it just
what's that word? Acquisition.
Yeah, they've
amalgamating.
They've acquired. That's the word. Bethesda exclusively for. Well, I mean, for me, it doesn't matter because it's the nice thing about Xbox now. Like, while they don't give me any reason to buy their systems, what Xbox really means is PC, and I'm like, oh, so this changes nothing for me. I'll just get it on the PC. But for those that were hoping to, and I am wondering exactly how it's going to go from here. For those that wanted to play Elder Scrolls or Doom or Starfield or whatever have you from Bethesda going forward on the PlayStation, I do wonder what that's looking like now, because Microsoft owns Minecraft, but Minecraft is still on PlayStation. So I wonder like exactly how it's all going to work out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Personally, I'm super, super excited for this because, and there's been a lot of chatter about this online. Now, admittedly, the only Bethesda game that I've played so far is Fallout New Vegas. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim in particular is something that's kind of on my list to play one day. But there is some chatter online that people are thinking that maybe now that this is happening, are we going to see a Fallout New Vegas 2 or a Fallout New Vegas or a Fallout New Vegas style of game, possibly in a different location, like a different city. Like I would love to see maybe a Fallout Detroit or a Fallout Chicago.
Is it what is it? Is it Obsidian that's under Microsoft as well? Is that what it is?
It's Obsidian and Bethesda together that worked on Fallout New Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So so I'm assuming the reason why people are bringing this up now is because that means I don't know how Obsidian is tied in with Microsoft, but I have to assume if Bethesda being acquired by Microsoft, if that I'm sure that there has to be something there for why people are all of a sudden bringing this up.
I think it's more just the money. Microsoft is a massive, massive, massive company with a lot of money.
Oh, and you're saying they can force hey, you two kids
maybe not force, but just
together.
Fallout New Vegas is one of those games. Well, the Fallout series in general is one of those series that people really, really love. And there's a bunch of companies right now doing these remasters and remakes and kind of doing revamping games that people really love. And so, I think people are just speculating or maybe hoping that by this acquisition, it means that maybe we get another Fallout game that has kind of similar.
I could be a funny punch to the teeth from Xbox to Sony if they let Elder Scrolls continue on the PlayStation 5, but they only give them Skyrim. That's it.
I guess we'll see.
But it's a big deal for Microsoft, absolutely, to be able to say, hey, all these great franchises that you've come to know and love, and while not being the greatest lately, going forward, it's going to be housed mostly within the Xbox community under that umbrella. Yeah. It's a good thing. And I admittedly I'm not a big into the Bethesda games. Only recently I played Skyrim, and I've played Elder Scrolls Online for the first time this year as well. But I was really waiting for information on Starfield. That seemed like a good point to jump in on for me, because a Elder Scrolls / Fallout type game but in space seems like it'd be a really good one to get that I don't know, that first look at their style of games. But now that I have played Skyrim, I do see why it was so well received, even though I had only played it for the first time this year. And so I'd be excited to see what they do with Starfield.
Yeah, that's actually one of the games that some people are definitely looking forward to, just to go with the topic of the podcast today. So perfect. All right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, especially now with Xbox Game Pass including EA.
Oh, that's right.
And then this acquisition.
And they're just cramming everything they can into that Game Pass. Microsoft really has eyes on being the Netflix of gaming. It seems like that seems to be the driving goal in this next. It's very interesting. I'm really excited to see how it goes from here, because all three companies are doing very different things, the big gaming companies, right? The ones with the hardware, because Sony is really all about they're really all about that first person story experience, and they're really hammering on that one. And now Xbox has solidified their niche as trying to be Netflix for gamers. And then I don't know, Nintendo's doing whatever Nintendo does. Nintendo knows that they're a family friendly console, but they're just dripping in the nostalgia, and they'll pull you in with it every single time.
Yep. Yeah. And Nintendo kind of also sticks with you're right on the family friendly, but those kid friendly games, right? Mario is always going to be their thing. And then games like Animal Crossing.
Yeah. But I will give Nintendo credit. They those games, despite them being, I don't know, kids games, they are very well designed. And
yeah, they are.
I don't know. There's always just so much love coming out of Nintendo games. It's always just such a joy to play them.
Yeah, totally. Cool.
All right. Well, moving on then with this one though, this one's a nicer thing. It's affiliated with Twitch, but it's more so from a streamer. T-Pain, actually. Mm-hmm. He's made a royalty-free Beats pack for streamers.
Yes, he has. Yep. So he has put together a playlist of all kinds of different beats for Twitch and YouTube streamers to use as background noise while they stream. Guys, if you don't know, T-Pain is a streamer on Twitch. He's got a fantastic stream, actually.
It's wild.
Super awesome.
I didn't know until this week.
Yeah, it is awesome. So he has put together a huge list of songs in a playlist that he is calling the Pizzle Pack. And streamers can listen to and use during their streams. He said himself that he is awkward and doesn't like a quiet background either. And the beats are just a perfect way to break up the silence. There is a caveat to it. He has stated, guys, it is intended for background music only. He doesn't want people to use the music to make their own songs, and it's not for mixtapes or anything like that. It's just,
makes sense.
The intent is for Twitch, YouTube, background noise, and wherever else people are streaming, Facebook gaming, whatever. I particularly love this. The Pizzle Pack website, if you go on it, it does say that anyone who defies the set terms or violates T-Pain's copyright will get their ass sued.
There it is. He's like, hey, giving you this one for free. Don't abuse it. I mean, it's
pretty
justifiable.
much.
I think it's awesome though.
Pretty much. No, it's great.
Especially with I don't know. I guess it's kind of died down now, but there was that scare. Was it earlier this year? God, this year feels like it's been so long.
I know. It's both gone so fast and so long at the same time. But yeah, earlier this year, there was the whole DMCA stuff. Kind of, it's just talking with streamers that have been on the platform a while. It seems to happen about once a year, where all of a sudden things blow up.
It's a big issue, and then it goes away.
And people freak out, and then it goes away. But actually, since the one did happen this year, T-Pain's not the only one. There have been other bands that have come out to say, "Hey, we're okay if you stream our content," and they've okayed it with their record label. Yeah,
that is the one thing though. I had seen quite a few things of where people were where essentially the artist had said it's okay, but then the label said no, it's not, and they were taking people's stuff down anyway. So I feel like some artists, you have to look into it a little bit more rather than taking them at face value.
And that's just such the crappy thing. There have been bands out there. I mean, Metallica is one of them. Metallica, I can't remember how long ago it was now, but Metallica did go and buy all of the rights to all of their music. Mm-hmm. So it's not under a label anymore. They fully own everything.
That's very cool.
It is cool. Yeah. It sucks that not everybody, not every artist has the ability to do that. But it's nice that for the ones that do, they have done it. Mm-hmm. So ultimately at the end of the day, it's them that makes the call on it.
I feel like there's I know it's not the topic we're on, but the music industry is very I don't know, it's very progressive right now because it is. And I guess it has been kind of for the last decade, but with this increase of people getting popular through streaming or even making videos on YouTube and stuff like that, or with SoundCloud and all that, you have a lot of artists nowadays that don't have the only way to get big is no longer needing to essentially sell your soul to a label. You can just make it big on your own. And
there's a lot of just with COVID this year, we were talking about this, but Matthew Heafy, who is the vocalist for Trivium, he streams twice a day, 5 days a week on Twitch, and he not only streams gaming, but he streams a lot of himself playing music. He will play Trivium songs, and he's got a great setup. But he streams at 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Eastern Monday through Friday because they're not touring right now. There's no concerts or anything. I mean, he streamed on Twitch before this, but his growth since March just skyrocketed.
Oh yeah,
my coworker,
everybody's home, and then anybody that was going to go and watch a show can't go and watch anymore. So I guess the next best thing, watch him do music.
My coworker told me about him, and I love Trivium, and I've loved them now even more since I started watching Matthew's stream. But Yeah, prior to COVID though, like he streamed like the band getting ready for a show. So he'd like bring his whole stream set up.
Like a behind the scenes type deal.
Yeah. So yeah, for them getting ready for a show, like he'd bring all of his stuff behind the stage and set it up and stream that. So yeah, super cool. But yeah, it's good to see that that artists are doing this.
It's so wild how Twitch now is just like it's been weird. It's because like Twitch is this thing, like since I have been on the website for about a decade. It's always been this thing of where Twitch has always kind of been a thing of like, if you know about it, and that's kind of been it for a long while, right, until very recent. It was during the big kerfuffle with YouTube, where they that's when they started doing a lot of weird stuff with demonetization. And it was when they started doing a lot of weird stuff with demonetizing a lot of people's YouTube, and like, you know, that revenue. That's when you kind of started seeing that gradual trickle into Twitch. But now, like, Twitch is just, I feel like ever since Drake showed up on Ninja's stream, it's kind of just put it into like this
that moment.
Since I can pinpoint the moments when things happen, and that seems to be it. When that happened, it just brought this big rush of new people that had never heard of Twitch before, like trying to like try their hand at streaming, because they're like, right, hey, this guy played a video game and he got Drake on his stream, I can do that too. or you know, YouTube people coming over. And then now we've got like Logic is also on the platform, and he signed deal.
Yeah, he signed the exclusive deal with Twitch.
Now that he's in retirement. And then I've seen quite a few others. Like it's just so interesting because every now and then I'll come across on Twitch a person like an actor or a musical artist that you know, like Brandon Urie of Panic at the Disco streams as well. Scott Klopfenstein, I think his last name is. He used to be in Real Big Fish. He streams on Twitch, and I know that because he ended up throwing himself into Mitch Berzizi's stream when I was there, and Mitch kind of had a heart attack. He's like, "Holy crap! Hello, Scott. Hi. Thanks for being in my stream." It's crazy how just how big Twitch is getting, considering like, especially now, because like it's just been like Twitch has just been here for a long time, but it feels like particularly now, like there's just a lot of just a lot of moving parts around it.
It's easy to get started, so
yeah. I feel like it's definitely an easier barrier to entry than making videos on YouTube.
Yeah, for sure.
Like making videos on YouTube that's a whole nother thing.
It takes a lot more knowledge, because not everyone has editing.
Yeah, you have to know how to edit, and then also
not everybody
you have to
wants to edit.
I feel like you can get away on Twitch with like, hey, all right, you kind of just set up your base alerts, you get a couple of scene switches, and you get yourself a webcam. But like, I feel like on YouTube, like it's been going on for so long, like you have to be like a whole ass director to make YouTube videos. Pretty much. All right.
While we'll flip back to the music topic, because we are going to talk a little bit, probably not for too long, but in case nobody is aware,
Facebook
gaming.
Now, wasn't there a clear up about this? Because at first, I remember when it first came out and people were just like losing their minds. They're like, Facebook is just letting you play whatever the hell you want, and they'll just
not totally.
They'll just eat all of the pings that you'll get against you.
Yeah. So the title's a bit misleading. The title says Facebook gaming partners can now play copyrighted music during live streams. So you read that, you go, oh my gosh, this is a big deal. Let's go to Facebook gaming, but not quite. So we got to clarify a couple things. First, it's only partners of Facebook gaming that can do it.
Now, do we know what a partner on Facebook gaming looks like? Like, is it like a similar thing to Twitch where you got to like have like the 75 concurrents and
I've never looked into it.
I've never been on Facebook. God, I haven't been on Facebook.
I've never been on Facebook gaming.
I've never been on Facebook I haven't been on there in like years.
I have a Facebook account. I've never checked out the gaming side of it. I don't know. But I think that the main thing, so not even just the partner stuff, but the main thing is that it's a library. It's like a certain playlist. There are still restricted tracks. And then Facebook obviously says like your stream still has to focus on gaming rather than music. So like here's a playlist of songs that we have somehow okayed with certain labels or whatever. That you can play behind the scenes, but your stream still has to have your voice and the game audio, or well, maybe not even the game audio, but your voice over the music. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the music can't be the focus of the
right. Stream. One thing I didn't know though that this article actually goes into is it says currently all creators, so all Facebook gaming creators, can access a library of free custom music and sound effects through Facebook's sound collection. Until Facebook extends use of copyrighted music to all gaming creators, everyone except for partner creators will need to stick to using those royalty-free music options. So I didn't even know until I looked into this that Facebook Gaming offers all of their creators like a royalty-free playlist that they can go in and grab, which is kind of neat.
So that, I guess is that what it is now? Like it's Facebook they're like, hey, here's I don't know, here's a link to my SoundCloud. You can play stuff off of this. Is that what Facebook is saying? They're like, hey, these are partners. These are the things you can use, and you like essentially just kind of shuffle this playlist, and that's like you just kind of deal with it.
So for the royalty-free stuff for all creators, they have like a sound collection. But for those partnered streamers that are able to play copyright-free, there are still restricted tracks. But I like until we have like an in on this, like because this article says gaming creators can play those songs from whatever source they prefer, such as music streaming services or downloads from a personal collection. So it's got to be a list. Like it's got to be an actual list of songs.
I guess it would have to be a list then. Yeah, you'd have to like, okay, you could play. It's so weird. Like it'd be like, okay, here's this artist. You can play their stuff, but you can only play these. I don't know. You can only play songs. Yeah, you can only play like off this specific album. You can play tracks 3, 5, and 10. It's like, okay, well, I guess.
That's funny. And then this article closes off by saying, so far, Facebook has secured licenses covering over 90 countries. So there's not like a ton of information on this. And honestly, like, I'm not going to lie, like, I'm kind of like, I don't want to, but I also do kind of want to just to see. I'm like tempted to make, like, kind of go through the Facebook gaming process just to see. Like, not that I would ever stream on Facebook. I never would. I don't want to do that. But I'm interested in just seeing like how their
every time I think
dashboard
of Facebook,
looks.
I just think it's like, I might be wrong. I know. I just think it's a bunch of old people. Like real, like just like that. But they think that's what the internet is. Like this is the internet. The internet is Facebook, and that's like. And I just every time I think of Facebook, like, and every time I go on there, it's just a whole bunch of old people complaining about stuff. That there are answers to. They just can't get off Facebook to go and find the answers to the problems that they're having. Like,
yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting just to keep an eye on Facebook gaming and see what happens with this. But yeah, with that, we've got one more news topic to cover.
One more,
which we actually literally added in last minute because it just came out the other day. And when Joe and I were planning this episode, it hadn't come out yet. So we're quickly adding it in last minute. But we got to talk about this new cloud gaming service that Amazon has announced.
Actually, I kind of like the name Tempo more than Luna. That was the code name was Tempo for it.
Tempo?
But they announced it fully as Luna. I kind of like Tempo a little bit more. But
yeah, I like Tempo. I like Tempo too. Luna's like, I just think of Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter when I hear Luna. That's just me though. But yeah, so Amazon announced a cloud gaming platform.
Yeah, because those have done so well in the past.
Service was rumored last year. Was codenamed Tempo. We don't have an actual like release date yet on when this is going to be launched widely. But they're saying it's initially going to be available on PC, Mac, Fire TV, iPhone, iPad via web apps on the iPad, and then an Android version will be planned afterwards. This is going to be interesting. I like the introductory price of $5.99 a month.
It's not a bad deal.
It's not a bad deal. I think the barrier to entry here on this is going to be people's internet connections. And until
and it's the same issue that Stadia had. Like it's like, oh hey, you can play all these games on any screen that you have available to you, but can you deal with the lag that's going to come across trying to stream a game? Like you're not playing it from a hard drive or anything. You're trying to stream a game to play at 4K 60.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see, because I mean, that's all going to be affected by like how many people are accessing it at any given time, your own personal internet connection, your own, like if there's going to be more than one person streaming in your house on your own internet connect, like there's all these different factors into it, right? Like that's how it, so I don't know, like personally, like I like, you know, I like the Xbox Game Pass because you can actually still download the game to your computer and have it, you know,
like how it's literally just an Xbox controller
on.
Sorry,
let's talk about it's okay.
It just looks like an Xbox controller.
It really does. Like I have my Xbox controller right here, and yeah, it looks. There's a third button though. So like the Xbox controller just has like these two right here.
It looks like it has a mic symbol on it. Oh boy, I want to get to listen to.
Is that a mic symbol?
It is a mic symbol, and I'm assuming that means that I'm gonna have 12-year-olds yelling about what they did with my mother last night if I happen to play any kind of competitive game through Luna.
I'm not gonna lie though, like, can I admit that I actually like the purple in the controller though? I like the purple.
It's nice.
The purple edition.
Purple is a good color.
I feel like if Twitch launched a controller, this would be what it would look like, because it's very much like Twitch purple.
I actually do say Luna will also feature a Twitch integration. Well, I mean, it makes sense. It's from Amazon.
Yeah.
Inside the Luna experience, players will see Twitch streams for games in the service, and from Twitch, they'll be able to instantly start playing Luna games. Oh, I get it. Okay, so if somebody is streaming a game and then Luna just so happens to have that game, they're going to give you the functionality to be able to, like, hey, you like watching this person play it? You can play it right now as well, and then, you know, it just boops it up for you. That's pretty smart.
That's actually kind of, that is pretty smart. Yeah. Although hopefully they implement that in a way where it doesn't cover the stream when the stream is live, right? We got to make sure that if they're going to do that, they got to do it in a different place that's not over the stream.
Twitch, one day you'll land something. I don't think it's gonna be this year though.
I think it's Amazon and Twitch together. But the one thing that I will say that I do like about the controller though is it is only going to be $50, which I feel like that's okay price point. Yeah,
$50 for a controller, and then
that's fair, right?
And then you pay the sub to be able to access the games wherever you want.
$5.99 a month.
I mean, I'd be hyped about this. I'd be hyped about Stadia or Luna if if anybody had the internet to. Well, some people do. All you out there with your fiber internet connections, you got like 1 billion upload and download all the time. Lucky for you. But all the schlubs like me, I can't have stuff like this. I can't have Luna.
It's gonna be interesting to see once it's finally launched, kind of what the reception is like. I'm interested kind of to see, you know, even if people do have really good internet connections, if a bunch of people are on this service all at once, you know, I'm curious to see just people's feedback on how the games actually play when it's through the cloud like this.
I'm just wondering how because it's going to be directly compared to Stadia, and honestly, Stadia came out and then it just, I don't know, I swear it came out for like one day and people were like, all right, let's see what this can do. The problem that we thought was going to be there is there, and then it just fizzled out of existence. And so I feel like it's going to be the same thing with Luna.
Fingers crossed though, like hopefully Amazon takes what happened with Stadia, like
as a
learning and prepares for it, you know. Time will tell. We'll see. But with that wraps up Twitch and gaming news. We're now going to move on to our out of context quote that we have picked for you guys, and we have a poll this time, since we can't actually have a poll in the chat because that's for affiliates only, which we learned last time was affiliate walled.
A poll behind affiliation on Twitch. God.
Here, I just put the link in chat. The quote today is, "Leave my banana alone. It's cute." And we have either Chubbs, Mikey, Hampy, or Noom to pick from. So we'll let this run. We'll let this run for a minute or so.
I'm hoping that this updates live. Isn't this supposed to update live, or do I have to like refresh the page? We'll see. We'll see if.
I like how Chubbs is here and he says, "I literally have no idea." Abby said she voted and didn't update. So yeah, you might have to do a refresh of the.
Oh, I do. Okay.
Okay. Well, Hempy's also here and he doesn't know either.
All right, straw poll. You gotta
Stim says, "I feel like this is a trick question."
These votes piling in live.
I'm refreshing on my end too.
Under the banana wagon. Well, Chubbs, maybe you shouldn't advocate for bananas so hard.
You do buy bananas in the middle, Chubbs.
Oh,
says
God.
Abby.
That's right, you do. Chubbs.
I'm just going to say that I don't like bananas. I think that I ate way too many of them as a 3-year-old because apparently back when I was a toddler, that's all I ate was bananas. And as far as my brain can remember going back in time, I never liked bananas. So I ate way too many of them as a child, as a toddler. And then by the time that, I don't know, my taste buds figured things out, I have never liked bananas. The only thing, I like banana bread. That is the only banana thing I like.
I guess, see, I'm not going to like go, yeah, I don't dislike bananas. It's just, I'm not going out of my way to like hunt a banana down, right? If a banana happens to be in something, and it's fine. Like, I think I'm fine with like one thing I really do like. I love a good strawberry banana smoothie. That's fantastic. Strawberry bananas mix perfectly right there. And then there is it's like the banana pudding or whatever the hell it is. It's like banana with the like vanilla wafers and like, you know what I'm talking about? Like and they like have like the whipped topping that's like mixed in there with it. Yeah, that's awesome. That's good. I like that. But I don't know. Outside of those two things, I can't think of like anything where I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm really jonesing for a banana today. Let me just go and chase that down.
There was a tweet on Twitter the other day that I had to like and retweet because it's so true. But someone said a fruit smoothie is a fruit smoothie, and as soon as you throw a banana in, it's now a banana smoothie. And I 100% agree with that. There is nothing out there that can cover the taste of a banana in a smoothie. Fight me. I'm sorry. It's how I feel.
No, I feel like the strawberry complements it really well. I feel like you can definitely taste the strawberry with the banana.
But you can still taste the banana. That's the problem.
But if you're throwing a banana in there, do you want to taste the banana? I'd assume.
No.
Well, why are you throwing a banana in there in the first place if you don't want the banana taste in there?
Because I like the creamy consistency that it provides in a smoothie is top notch. It's just if you could somehow mask the taste of it.
Go and get some milk then. I don't know what to tell you.
All right. I think we've left the poll up for a while. The results are in. Chubbs with 50% of the votes, Hampy with 33%, and Mikey with 16, and 0 for Noom, which, good job, guys. It's not Noom, but it was Mikey. Mikey was the one who said this. So our two banana lovers, Hampy and Chubbs, believe it or not, they did not say this, although I feel like they would have. I feel like they would have said this at some point.
Right? But
oh, yeah. We made this a trick question. We definitely threw Chubbs and Hampy in this one. I was scrolling through all of the out of context quotes, and I saw this one, and I saw Mikey's name behind it, and I went, ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one. So
that was a nice
guys, thank you for participating. I think this straw poll works well until maybe one day we get affiliate on this channel, though we would have to stream a lot more for that to happen, unless we could somehow, I don't know. I don't think we can contact Twitch and be like,
Twitch,
hey, I know we only stream twice a month. But anyway, it's fine. All right. So for the meat of the podcast now, we're going to talk about anticipated games. Joe and I have some games that we want to talk about. And then, like I said earlier, at the beginning of this podcast, we did throw out this question in the Nook Discord, and we did have quite a few people toss in some games that they're looking forward to. So we're just gonna talk about games right now. We're gonna talk about games that we're excited for.
Talking about games on Twitch.
right? But no, there is a lot of exciting titles coming out. Some with confirmed release dates and some without. I'll let Joe go first because I know that he's really excited about the games that he's going to talk about that he's excited for.
Well, the first, and it's coming very soon with the PlayStation 5's launch, Demon Souls. I'm very excited to hop into that one. It's something that, like, just after, because I pretty much spent all of 2019 playing a Souls-like game, most of them FromSoft titles, but I played Neo, and then I played Sekiro, I played Jedi Fallen Order, all the Dark Souls games, Bloodborne. Like, I was just going through all Souls-likes, and one people kept bringing up every time I'd say, oh yeah, I played all the FromSoft games. They're like, did you play Demon Souls? I'm like, no, I didn't play Demon Souls. I don't have a PlayStation 3. Get off my back. But now PlayStation 5, they're remaking it, and Blue Point has shown in the past that their remakes pretty amazing, and it looks like they're taking a lot of, like, they're really, like, putting a lot of care into at least a little bit that we have seen of Demon Souls. And even between the only two trailers that we have of it so far, there's even been updates between the two of from people that were having issues with, like, oh, some of the designs or the lighting, or some of it looks a little too bright. I mean, understandably, it's a Dark Souls type game, right? Dark grim fantasy. So having some areas be a little bit too bright might ruin the flavor of the original. But they're, so far, Demon Souls looks like it's gonna be awesome. I really wish that they wouldn't have gone with, and I know it was just for the demo thing, like when they showed off like the gameplay demo, but like watching a Souls character run through and one shot every single enemy felt wrong to watch. I was like, that's not how Dark Souls works. No, like you're just gonna walk up and one hit a guy? No. First of all, you're gonna go in there. He's gonna block all your attacks, or you're gonna think you're gonna one shot that guy, and then another one's gonna jump out from the shadows and murder you. Like, it's not gonna be this easy stroll to the boss. But aside from that, Demon Souls I'm very excited about. I don't know, like, have you ever thought about playing any of the Souls games?
I've thought about it, and I've watched people play the games. I've watched a bunch of Nookians play, and I've watched some other friends play, and it just doesn't, I'm not drawn to that style of game.
See, and that's what I thought at first too. That's why it took me so long.
I know.
It took me it took me 6 years to ever hop on the train. I was like, all right, fine, let's get in there. I'm gonna play this game. I'm gonna hate it, and then we can drop it. Turns out they're one of my favorite game series now.
Yeah, it's still a hard maybe for me. I feel like I need just a bit more
maybe
practice still with just gaming in general, because I know that those types of games takes a lot of different mechanics, because it's very much about like the bosses, and there's different.
I would say if you ever try it, Dark Souls is the best one. The original Dark Souls, it's perfect because it's when compared to the other ones, it moves slower, which might take some getting used to because it is slow. But because it's slow, it allows you to learn easier.
Right.
And then
cool.
I think it is a very good experience, because the thing that always turned me away from the Souls games was that's all I ever heard people talk about. It was like, oh, this boss kicking my ass, and then I watch, and then like, oh, I'm dying, and I'm rerunning to the boss over and over and over again. I'm like, where's the fun in this? There is fun in that game. There is. It's not only boss runs. Like, there's a whole world to explore, and like nobody ever tells you that Dark Souls is through and through an RPG first. Like, there's a world to explore, there's a character to put together, and there, despite what a lot of people think, there is lore there that is very, very interesting, and it's my favorite part of the games.
Okay, I'll keep Dark Souls in mind, and maybe that will happen.
Don't write it off just yet.
Okay,
but we'll go to one from you, Cal. What game are you looking forward to coming up soon?
So I know that there is going to be there is very mixed feelings about this game. But for myself personally, I am looking forward to Hogwarts Legacy. I respect people that don't want anything to do with that game. They don't want to touch it. They're not going to buy it. I totally get that. For myself, I do a pretty good job of separating art from artist. And Hogwarts, just Harry Potter in general, has been such a big part of my life. Like, the first book came out when I was like 7 years old. So it's been with me. So the first book came out when I was 7. The last movie came out when I was like 20 years old. So it's been with me throughout my whole childhood, pretty much. And I played the original Harry Potter games on PC, like the Philosopher's Stone, Chamber of Secrets. So Hogwarts Legacy, like watching that trailer, like that is, especially now that I'm getting into gaming as an adult and actually playing RPGs and open world games and all of this stuff, like Hogwarts Legacy is just one of those games that, like, I watched that trailer and I was just like, holy shit, like, yes, like, this
it's everything
is
that you've hoped a Harry Potter game would come out with.
Yeah. So, it might be one of those things where, I get it secondhand, or if it's available on something like the Game Pass or whatever, then maybe I'll do it that way instead of buying it new and buying it outright. But yeah, it is a game that I'm personally looking forward to. Again, just with JKR's whole like crap personality, like, I get it that some people are not going to want to have anything to do with it, and that's fine. I did tweet about this. I hope that there's just some kind of, like, cancel culture is a very big thing right now, and I get it for certain things. I just, when it comes to something like this, I'm just hoping that people don't turn on people for something like this.
I know for a lot of people with J.K. Rowling and Hogwarts, for a lot of people, it's like, it's very hurtful for them to try and separate something that, like, for a lot of people, like, I don't know, Harry Potter is really big for me as well, but like, I remember my aunt showed that to me, and she showed it to me after the first movie came out. So the first movie came out, she took me to go and see the movie because she wanted to see if I'd be interested in that, because she'd been reading the books.
Right.
And then after I enjoyed the movie, she gave me the first 3 books, I think it was at the time. And then, like, I just gobbled them up. And then every time a Harry Potter release would come out, like, we were waiting at midnight at a Barnes and Noble, just me and her, grabbing the next Harry Potter book, where I would read it until like 4 a.m. and then, fall asleep in class the next morning. And so, like, I don't know, I definitely have a lot of fond memories with it. And I think, like, I know a lot of people will say that
this one's a hard one.
Yeah, I know a lot of people will say, just, you have to, like, if you're going to support Harry Potter, you're going to support J.K. Rowling. And I don't know, like, I feel like Harry Potter's gotten to the point where it's, I don't know, it's just so big as a franchise.
Yeah. And I know she's still profiting off of it. And, I hope that Warner Brothers comes out with some kind of confirmation on things, though, with this, because, like, I wonder if people, and when I say people, I mean, like, those companies, like, I wonder if they're, like, with the trailer coming out and people, like, going up in arms about it on Twitter and other social media platforms, like, I wonder if they're sitting there going, like, at all worried about, sales or,
I'm sure,
or, Absolutely. So, like, I think that I feel like it would be smart for them to come out with some kind of statement and clarification, like, to either clarify she's already got her money and the sales will just happen, but she's already been paid and she already has that money. So, like, regardless of whether you buy the game or not, like,
I don't know.
I feel like that would, I don't know how any of that works either, but yeah, it's one of those hard ones. But I had seen on Twitter, though, like, someone had made kind of a good point, or was it on, I can't remember where I saw it, but it might have been multiple people that said it. But it's one of those things where it's like, you can find fault in just about anything or any.
Yeah, I mean, most of the gaming landscape right now is, like, I mean, people are just shitty, and so, like, trying to like, if you're not separating art from artists, I mean, I feel like we can't play, like, I feel like we can't play
Minecraft
games at all, like, almost, because, like, I swear this past year, like, we found problems with, like, I swear every single big gaming company, there's just problems of racism, sexism, and sexual assault, and, like, all these crazy things all coming out from all these big developers, of like games that they're creating. And like I feel like it's getting to the point where if you can't separate the art from the artists, we're just going to be doomed to not be able to like, we're not going to be able to enjoy anything.
Well, especially too when the artist, like, so Harry Potter has been like a thing over such a long period of time, like 2+ decades, where it's like, you know, but it's only recently in respect of that whole time frame, right? Mm-hmm. Only recently where that artist has now turned into a giant sack of dicks. Right?
A big old steaming pile of dicks.
But honestly though, so like, you know, it's so in that respect, you know, it's just really shitty because it's like, you know, this franchise has been out for so long, but it's only recently that the person that created it has now turned into this kind of person. And yeah, like this isn't the first time that people have gotten up in arms and called to boycott a certain thing because of the person behind the thing anyway. But yeah, so like for this episode I did think a bit like, do I want to say that I'm looking forward to Hogwarts Legacy?
I am looking forward to Hogwarts Legacy. I'm going to admit
that I am looking forward to it.
Like, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it because like, even though it's a universe that she created, the stories being told don't have like, nothing's coming from her. I don't think
and I don't think there's even Harry Potter.
As well as I probably won't be buying it like at full price. Right. I'll probably wait until I'll wait a year or two until I can get it on a sale or. And also too, like the game is based in 1800s Hogwarts, so that's like a whole century before Harry Potter was born. So there's not going to be Harry Potter in it or any of the characters that we know and love. Like this is truly just the world of Hogwarts and surrounding areas. And so there's gonna like I anticipate the game to have like whole new characters that we've never like right like it's gonna be a whole new thing. So anyway, but yeah, I think buying secondhand is a good option. There has been people talking on Twitter too about like, you know, if you decide to play the game and stream it, run a Tiltify campaign for, you know, trans supporting organizations, you know, show that you are an ally for the LGBTQ community. And I think that's a great idea too, you know, just to offset a little bit, you know, or in many cases, maybe greatly offset what was paid for the game, you know, so. But it's tough. Like I respect people. Like, I just want to throw it out there that I do respect people that are deciding that they want nothing to do with it. Like, that's 100% Absolutely. Fine. Like I get it, you know? So I do have a person in my community who is trans, and I talked to them about this game. And when I mentioned that, you know, I am looking forward to it and I do want to play it, but if I choose to stream it, then I would run a Tiltify campaign. Like they told me that they would appreciate that very much and that they were totally fine if that's the route that I wanted to take. So for me personally as a streamer, you know, consulting with my community about it and then going ahead with what they've agreed on as what they would be okay with it, that's what matters to me as a streamer. Yeah. So anyway, back to you on a game, because I know you have another one that some Nookians agreed with you on this game in particular that you're going to talk about. Well, I mean, I'd be pretty remiss if I didn't bring up Cyberpunk 2077. Because, I mean, the more and more I see of that game, I get more and more excited. And I was, for a long time, I was really trying to keep my expectations and the hype in check because, I don't know. Like, I keep thinking in my head, like, and I don't know why I do this, but like, I've been thinking about it from like the developer. Like, I can't imagine trying to be CD Projekt Red making Cyberpunk with how much hype there is behind this game, of like how perfect this game is going to have to be coming off the heels of Witcher 3, because the game is just, the hype is so huge that if any part of it falls by the wayside, I feel like, you know, people are going to chew it up, spit it out. But everything they keep showing has me excited. Like, I love the fact that there's 3 different starts to the game. One being like, one is you're a street kid that lived in Cyberpunk, like in the Cyberpunk city. What, I can't remember what the city's name is, but you're a street kid, you grew up there, and so it like gives you perks for like literally the rest of the game. Like, so essentially, depending upon where you start, it will shape how you can do every single quest and every interaction with every character in the game, because you know, you grew up. So if you grew up in the city, naturally you might know where you might know where everything is, or you might know who to talk to, who not to talk to. You might have underground connections, things like that. And then there's another one where you grew up outside of the city, which feels very Fast and the Furious with the way that they're showing it. It's all about family and everything, which I think is hilarious because they're like really hammering it home.
Right.
But the one that I'm most excited for is the Corbo, which is you're from corporate. And so you start off as this high up business person, and then you know your story will go from there. And I really think it's interesting that I don't know, that so much of this game's questing and story is going to be shaped by just your initial choices, much less the choices you make within each quest line itself. Like, I think it'll be very, very good. And then they've really even released more about gameplay and all that recently, and the different skills you can go into, and it's all looking very, very exciting. Man, I try to keep my hype down, but it's very hard now. It's very hard now.
Well, you're not alone. There were some other Nookians that also exclaimed that Cyberpunk was something that they were looking forward to, and I think that is one that I will be adding to my list of games to play once it's out. So yeah, that one seems super fun. All right, before we dive into what
Keanu
are
Reeves is in that, by the way.
Oh, is he
in Cyberpunk? Yeah, he's the apparently he's the second. Like, at first people were thinking that Keanu Reeves was only going to be just like, oh, Keanu Reeves makes a cameo, but apparently he's the second. Like, he has the second most voice lines in the game. The only other person that has more voice lines is your main character.
Oh, cool.
I'm like, oh wow.
I love Keanu Reeves.
Oh, absolutely.
We could almost have a whole episode just talking about him.
God, Keanu Reeves is such a gem.
All right. Yeah, before we get into what some of our Nook members talked about, I need to talk about Dragon Age 4. I still haven't played. Well, those of you that hang out my stream and know me a little bit, you know that I'm currently making my way playing through the Dragon Age series for the first time. So I've played Inquisition once before fully. I'm currently playing Origins fully. I'm about, I don't know, like 60% of the way through the game, I think. And then I'm going to play 2 after. But yeah, Dragon Age 4, again, we don't know a release date. I mean, we're talking about anticipated games that we think will be released in the next 1.5 to 2 years. Dragon Age 4 could still be past that. We don't know
Dragon
yet.
Age 4 could be out in 2024. From the sounds of it.
Possibly. But guys, if you guys did not watch the behind the scenes video that they put out about Dragon Age 4, I just linked it in the chat. BioWare did a 4-minute video just giving fans a little bit behind the scenes at the next Dragon Age game. And this video was what is getting me excited for Dragon Age 4. Just the fact that they did this and just talked about they talked about some of the concept art.
The design looks very, very cool.
I'm so excited.
I watched the video and I'm like, oh my God. So all like everything that they're showing is all just like super early phases, but
and I know things will change and people are analyzing, like when EA Play did their it was a few months ago, but EA did their live stream thing announcing new games coming up and stuff, and like they didn't explicitly state anything about Dragon Age 4, but they definitely did include some like concept art screenshots in there, and people were eating that up like crazy and trying to analyze it and stuff. And then they came out with this video to kind of do the behind the scenes teaser, and people are ripping that apart and analyzing that like crazy and everything. But
of course,
you know what?
That's just the internet nowadays.
Yeah,
you show anything and people just like, I swear you're just on one of those
although
CSI shows, like just like you're just enhancing all the images, trying to like go down to the pixel of any possible thing they can glean from what's being shown. It's amazing.
Yeah. Although Patrick Weeks, who is the lead writer for Dragon Age, he did a really good tweet thread I'm trying to see if I can find it to link. I do have it somewhere because we were talking about this in my Discord. Because yeah, when the teaser trailer came out and everybody was like, you know, eating it up like crazy. Yeah, here we go. I'll link this in the chat, or if you want to bring it up on screen. This is a good one to talk about, because yeah, he basically just he said a word about concept art. Much like box art, creatures help devs get an early feel for gameplay. Concept art helps devs get an early feel for mood. If the mood of concept art you're seeing excites you, cool, but please don't get attached to or hung up on specifics. And then he linked some images and he said, you know, these two images, I love them. The first, and I say this as a fumbling non-artist, explores presenting characters as iconic heroes. The second puts characters into exaggerated comic book hero poses. That doesn't mean either is the art style for our game. And he basically just continues on to just basically tell people, like, don't get attached to the very specifics of these images we've shared, right? Like, this is just the mood. This is just what we're going for. The, you know,
heroic
he's like,
seems to be the mood.
Yeah. And he said, you know, seeing people's reactions made yesterday, like this was back on August 28th. So yeah, it was the 27th that came out, that video. And he said, you know, seeing people's reactions made yesterday the best day in 2020 for me. But he's just like, just want to remind people, the whole video was made to show folks the mood, the feel, not the actual specifics. And I'm glad that he came out and said this, because yeah, people were like focusing on very specific characters, like the Kunari woman, for example. Like, people were going crazy about her, and it's just like, it's possible that
she's there, but she might
won't
not
even be in the game, right? You know. So anyway, but yeah, this is like, Patrick's awesome. Patrick, he came in my stream once, they came in my stream once. Sorry, I forgot that they is their preferred pronoun. But yeah, Patrick came into my stream and at the very end, and I was talking to Solus, and Patrick kind of just made a funny comment about Solus. And if you've played Dragon Age Inquisition, you would know. Would know why. But I'm
out of the know. I've never played a Dragon Age game, unfortunately.
Solus in Dragon Age Inquisition, his character just takes like a really unexpected turn at the end. And anyway, there's a lot of, once you've played the game fully and then you go back and replay it, there is a lot of like really good foreshadowing when you're talking to Solus. So yeah, Patrick had come in at a moment where I was talking to Solus, and I can't remember what Solus had said, but Patrick made a comment in my chat about like, oh really, Solus? And anyway, so but yeah, so Dragon Age 4, like, I'm really excited for it. I'm sorry, Ella just made a bunch of noise. But yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm excited for it. It is just one of those wait and see games, you know, in terms of releasing. I don't know. We don't know when it's coming out, but that video I linked in chat, guys. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's awesome. It's so good. With that, let's talk about some games that people are excited for, that fellow Nookians are excited for. We have two people in particular that are excited for a game called Dwarf Fortress. That would be King Argaroth and Noom. They both expressed interest in this game. Noom in particular said that he was really looking forward to them improving the user interface and the user experience with this game. And Noom's excited to see it accessible to a larger audience due to the graphics. He said that it is one of his oldest obsessions, so he is really looking forward to
I have never heard of Dwarf Fortress.
I'm gonna Google this right now.
Yeah, I don't know what a Dwarf Fortress is. I mean, it can't be very big, if we're being honest.
It is on Steam. If anyone is interested. But oh my gosh, look at these ratings. 5 out of 5, 97% like this video game. Construction and management simulation and roguelike indie video game. Well, that falls right into Noom's. Noom is very much, if you're not following Noom, he is very much a indie game lover. But yeah, this is one that him and Arg share in, that they're really looking forward to.
I don't know what to think of it. There's just a lot of there's a lot of colors on the whole. I can. I'm just looking at pictures of Dwarf Fortress, and I don't know what the hell's happening here. Oh, they made some faces. That's nice. Anyway.
All right, Chewbex, and there's a few others as well. Hecky is also excited for it, but Subnautica Below Zero. Guys, if you haven't watched Chew play Subnautica, she likes to do permadeath runs. So I'm sure she's looking forward to a new challenge with a new game. And then Heki expressed that she was also excited for the new Subnautica game.
There are so many games I've never played. I've never like, especially like popular, like really popular ones. Like I've never touched Subnautica, but that's mostly because like I have this, and I feel like it's a pretty common fear amongst people. Like I do not like deep, dark water, much less deep, dark water with bullshit that wants to kill me. I don't like, that's just not my jam. And then when I'm like, they're like, hey, this is an entire game about that. I'm like, I'm good. I'm fine. We'll keep the distance from that one.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Subnautica. So there's been a few people that have asked if I'm ever going to play it. And for me, it's still a hard maybe. I'm not sure if I will or not. We'll see. Maybe like in 3 or 4 years from now. I don't know. But maybe if I have nothing else to play, then I'll get into Subnautica and Dark Souls. We'll dive into those games.
That list it's the gamer backlog. It's so weird because when I was younger, I remember like I would just all these RPGs that I play, specifically like JRPGs, right? Like so your Final Fantasies, Dragon Quest, all that, right? And I'd play like 150, 200 more hours than that into these games, and like I'm like, man, I need more games.
Yeah. And
now I'm like, holy shit, I need less games. Can you give me less game? Like even like I swear RPGs these days are they're getting so huge.
They are.
They're gigantic.
Speaking of RPGs, Heki had thrown in a bunch of games that she's excited for. One of them being The Elder Scrolls 6. She said that she's been a huge fan of the Elder Scrolls lore for ages, and she's been waiting for a new announcement since Skyrim. And she is still in particular a very big fan of Bethesda, despite others having different feelings about Bethesda, and that's a whole other topic. But yeah, Heki in particular, super excited for Elder Scrolls 6. I know we already talked about Starfield, that new original space RPG that we really don't know too much about yet. She's excited for Starfield.
I just imagine it'll be Elder Scrolls or Fallout, because I've never played I have played Skyrim, but I've never played a Fallout game. But I imagine
you need
just from looking at them both, they look like the same game with a reskin. Like,
yep.
And like in my mind, what I'm imagining is just same game in space.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's different than that.
Well, we'll see.
I'm hoping, but we'll see.
Elden Ring, Heki said, because, and I quote, "Yum, who doesn't like to go insane in From Software games?" Sure. She is also excited and interested to see how it's going to be compared with other titles, because apparently George R.R. Martin is involved with Elden Ring, which I didn't know.
Yeah,
so he made I might check that out.
Though everybody seems very confused with like George R.R. Martin's like inclusion into the game. Apparently, George R.R. Martin made the like the backdrop of the world. So he made he created the lore and essentially the where the game is going to be built on, and then that's kind of like as deep as it went. And then after he established the base for everything, Miyazaki is now going to go in there and do his thing and make it all very depressing and sad.
Right.
But I mean, which I feel like it's good. Is there any way that this game could turn out happy? I mean, because George R.R. Martin, depressing, sad base work. Miyazaki, depressing, sad layer on top. I mean, if I'm no mathematician, but negative, right? Isn't that how this goes?
Two negatives make a positive.
Exactly. So maybe this will be the happiest game we have ever gotten.
Maybe. And then the last game that Heki said that she was looking forward to, and this one was also shared by Avi and Space Shark, is Hollow Knight Silksong. Simply put, because the first one is awesome. Although Space Shark did add that she's interested to see if they're going to be able to pull off giving it the same feel of the first Hollow Knight without it being totally derivative. But yeah, we've got 3 people very excited for Hollow Knight Silksong. I haven't played Hollow Knight.
Oh, I'm so excited for Silksong. It's like that game was one of my favorites that I think that's one of my favorite games that I've like, at least since I've been streaming, that I've ever played. Like it took me completely by surprise because like I went to play it mostly because I really like the aesthetic of it, and it was just so popular, and it's also pretty cheap. I heard, like, I can't remember how much I paid for it, but I don't imagine I paid more than like $15 for it. But I heard that people can spend like 90 to 100 hours in it. I'm like, that's a lot of content for such a low priced game. And so I went in there completely blind because I never watched anybody play it or anything. And like I fell in love with it. I mean, most of my channel actually on Twitch is like all of my badges are all Hollow Knight. Well, they're like direct Hollow Knight. The charms in the game, they're actually charms from the game that I put on. I just downscaled them and put them into as badges. But I loved it. And Silksong, I'm excited for, but we have no clue when that's going to be released, because like I don't know when we got, like, when was the last trailer for that thing, but I feel like it was supposed to release at some point this year, but we all know how this year went. And then apparently like there's only like 3 developers. I think they added 1 or 2 more for this game over since the last one. So it's like a max, I think it's like 5 guys making this game. But like the lead guy, he had a kid this year as well. And so I'm like, oh my goodness. Well, we're never seeing Silksong. It's just never coming out.
Moving on to Space Shark. Space Shark is excited for 3 games in particular. Solar Ash Kingdom, which is the second game following a game called Hyper Light Drifter.
I have played that one.
She's excited because she thinks it's going to be a 3D version of Hyper Light Drifter. Going from
it looks very it looks very, very stylized, much like Hyper Light Drifter has that whole game. Well, the whole game is fantastic, but particularly the standouts are the visuals and like the sound with them and the music. Like that, it's like a very, very cohesive experience. And it looks like they're going to be doing a similar thing
my list
with Solar Ash.
This on my list. Nice. And then more cred. Apparently this was supposed to be released this year based on a tweet from 2019, but with this year being the way that it went, we're now not sure on this. Okay. But she said it's a multiplayer game that has won a lot of awards and has interesting light mechanics, according to Space Shark. Light mechanics. More cred. MORK.
Is it a puzzle game?
Mork.
Oh, it's a puzzle game.
REDD.
I don't know.
How do you feel about puzzle games? Because based on that, I feel like we are on the same page when it comes to puzzle games.
You see, like, I don't know. I like puzzles in games. I don't particularly enjoy a puzzle game. You know what I mean? Like, I like playing Legend of Zelda. There's puzzles in those games. But a game solely about puzzles, I'm like, I don't know about it.
I just threw a link into chat just to, like, in case anyone else has never heard of Morkred, because I certainly hadn't until I read Space Shark's excitement for it. But your goal is to ferry a large orb of glowing light through a pitch black world where stepping into the shadows of the environment will instantly kill you. Game is designed in a way that makes it possible for you to play by yourself or with a friend. And it won a bunch of awards. Best Social Game, Indie Sensation Award, Most Original Game, Best in Show. So
it looks very, like, just from like an aesthetic design, it looks really nice.
Yeah. And then Space Shark is also excited about Tunic, which doesn't have a release date confirmed, but it's an adventure game about a little fox, and Space Shark says that it gives her Link's Awakening vibes. So she is really excited for that.
Well, it looks adorable.
It's one of those ones where you have to make sure you Google Tunic game instead of just Tunic by itself.
If you just Google Tunic, like, you're gonna
just clothing.
It's gonna take a very long time, I feel like, for you to ever hit anything that might be associated with this game.
Yeah, this one does look adorable though. The fox is and it's Canadian indie developer Andrew Scholdes and published by Finji.
Look at it! Look at how cute this little fella is. Yeah,
that is.
He
adorable.
is like. He looks like Link if he was a fox.
Mm-hmm.
Adorable. God, I can't be looking at games like this. I've got too big of a backlog already.
All right, moving on. Twiggy had talked about some games.
Here goes Twiggy. A bunch of awful horror games coming our way, huh?
Yeah, actually. Amnesia Rebirth. Simply because Amnesia, The Dark Descent, and Soma are masterpieces, and Twiggy desperately wants another good horror game. I'm sure that some people will agree about Amnesia
I should
Rebirth.
probably play Amnesia, or I should probably play these games that people are saying are masterpieces, because every time I've seen stuff, like I played recently, I didn't stream it, but I had a friend that just somehow got me to play a horror game called Pacify. I don't know if you ever heard of this game.
No.
Oh my god. We played like it's a co-op game where literally all you do is you go into this house and you're trying to like I just still don't really know the story. She was like a ghost, but she wasn't a ghost. But anyway, we had to get her out of that. Like we had to like figure out how to get her out of the house, right? And it was everything that I hate about horror games. You're just running around hiding, and then the whole thing is like you have to like burn these dolls that are spread throughout the house, and the dolls can like get up and run away from you, which is a little freaky on its own when like you see the first one move. But you have to burn them. But every time you burn them, the ghost gets more agitated, or whoever it is you're supposed to be trying to catch, and she gets faster, and she's more accurate in finding you. By the time you get like to like 3 of them left in the house, she's moving so fast and so accurately, like you can't do anything. I'm like, oh, this just feels unfun when they make the horror thing so strong, you know?
Right.
And I feel like that's my problem usually with
I just played Outlast for the first time last weekend. I played Outlast for the first time because that was a goal I had set for the To Write Love on Our Arms charity event that was met. So I had my community suggest games and then vote for them. And Soma and Amnesia were in the list to vote for, but Outlast was the winner.
I feel like Outlast always wins like that watch. Like anytime I see a streamer who's doing a first time horror game stream thing, it's always Outlast. Outlast always wins out, and I feel like it's just because I don't know. Why is Outlast so fun? Is it good? Is it good? Can you tell me? Is it good?
I mean, I didn't particularly like love it because it's a horror game, but I did enjoy the aspect of you can't fight the people coming after you. Like your only options are to run and hide, which was very different for me because I'm like in all the games I've played, I'm so used to having weapons and I'm so used to, actually going and attacking. So it was very different for me to now not do that. I
have to turn tail and run. Yeah, that's
yeah. So I have to run and then hide. And so, yeah, I died a lot and there was a lot of good screaming moments for me and jump scares. But it was an interesting game. The story was I haven't finished it. I'm just going to throw that out there that I haven't actually finished the game yet. And I haven't played the DLC. I do have it. So I might, but I don't know yet. But
okay, maybe I need to play. Maybe I need to play Soma because Soma is this one that comes up consistently. Outlast, like I don't know. I have to play one of these horror games that people like tout as being the best. Because every time I ask somebody about a horror game, most of the time they're like, it was okay. I'm like, well, I already don't like the genre, so maybe I shouldn't play that one.
Yeah, I do want to play Soma eventually though, but and then moving on, Twiggy also said another game she's looking forward to is Little Hope, which is made by the Dark Pictures anthology, who did Man of Medan, Until Dawn, I believe.
I did like Until Dawn, actually. That is one horror
Twiggy
game
really liked. Yeah, Twiggy really liked Man of Medan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but she wants more games in that style. So she's keeping her eyes on Little Hope and kind of hoping that follows in the same.
I don't know. For some reason, it didn't bother, like the horror thing didn't bother me with, because I've since Until Dawn is the only one I've played, but like Until Dawn felt very much like felt like I was playing a 90s horror movie. Like, but it was like, it was almost like making fun of it at the same time. And so like, I don't know, I didn't look at it, like it didn't feel like it was taking itself too seriously, you know? It was like kind of like just presenting, hey, we like 90s horror films. Here's a game kind of built around those tropes. And like I was just like having fun, like, you know, like looking at the characters like, oh, I know exactly what kind of character you are. I've watched enough 90s horror films. And so like that was kind of my I haven't played Man of Medan, but I think if it's similar to Until Dawn, I actually might be looking forward to Little Hope as well.
It's similar in terms of mechanics, but yeah, completely different story and different, like, yeah, it's different. But you should definitely check it out. I've watched, like, I obviously have never played Until Dawn or Man of Medan because I can't, but or I think Man of Medan actually now is on PC on Steam, so I probably
it's on Steam now.
Could play it now, but I've never played both. But I've watched them both, and I've watched Until Dawn an absurd amount. And yeah, I enjoy watching those games, so I'm excited for Little Hope too, just from a viewer perspective. I'm excited for that one. And then last, Twiggy is also really excited for Twin Mirror because it's a new upcoming game by the same devs that did Life is Strange and Tell Me Why, which Twiggy just recently streamed and absolutely loved. And she said that because Twin Mirror will be an investigative adventure thriller, she says, and I quote, I mean, come on. So
now, investigative thriller. I do like thrillers. I guess I'm never a big fan of horror, but I do like suspense.
Me too.
Like suspenseful thrillers, awesome.
Yeah.
There's that fine line where it like bleeds over into horror or not, and like once you cross over, that's where I feel like it usually falls apart. But if you can get that suspenseful thriller going, that's really good.
Yep. And last, we're going to talk about games that Avi is excited for. There are 4 in particular that Avi said she is excited for. First up, Rune Factory 5. She absolutely loves the Rune Factory games that she's played. They're among her favorites in that genre, which is an underrepresented genre, she said. So, Rune Factory 5. Is that like you played Rune Factory?
I think that's like are those like the Harvest Moon type games?
Honestly, as someone that is just, you guys all know that I'm newer to gaming, so
I feel like that's like the game where
Rune Factory is not something I've played.
You're playing like I don't know, it's like life simulation, right? Role playing simulation, I believe is like the term. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've played I haven't played Rune Factory, but I've played games like this, and they're very relaxing. They're nice. Yeah. It's kind of like it's a nice thing to just. I suppose it's kind of like why people play Animal Crossing. You know, it's kind of like it allows you to like live a second life in a much or Stardew for that matter, right? And like you just get to live this other life and be awesome.
Yep, you just farm. Ella's being so loud. I'm sorry, guys. I either have to like constantly be petting her or, well, that's pretty much it. Hey, I wish I could like tilt the camera down to her.
With animals, it no longer becomes about you. It's about them.
Abby also said Breath of the Wild 2 ? Many things I love about Breath of the Wild, but also many things I can see being much better. More of an expansion on the Zelda universe, more back to the roots of Zelda gameplay and mechanics, proper dungeons, more cities and NPCs, and traditional items. I didn't realize Breath of the Wild 2 was going to be a thing.
Yeah, they announced, I think it was like a year and a half ago now, something like that. Yeah. But I'm very excited for it. Breath of the Wild is probably my favorite Legend of Zelda, and I don't have a lot of the same issues that a lot of people had with it, where a lot of people wish that there were like more traditional dungeons or more traditional items. Though to be fair, I was not a fan of the system that they used for items, for like your weapons and stuff like that. But and a lot of people had like concerns with how empty the world felt, but like I don't know, like I feel like it's pretty indicative of, hey, some giant monster took over this kingdom 100 years ago, and it stayed pretty shitty for 100 years. I don't think there's too many people taking a stroll down by the lake over there when you've got goblins or moblins, whatever the hell they're called, ready to, eat your face off. I think it made a lot of sense in my mind. Oh, this area has been in disarray for hundreds of years. And people really only gather at the small towns that are left throughout the, throughout the kingdom. It made sense to me. Oh, and there's also those laser beam shooting motherfuckers. If you walk near them, they shoot lasers at you. Nobody wants that. I'm going to stay in my house. Like, honestly, I'm going to stay in the village. I'm just going to stay. I mean, I don't know. It made sense to me. You're only going to be really walking out in the wild if you're, some kind of super legend that's been reincarnated over and over and over again.
Yeah. So I have a Switch. I just have the Switch Lite. So if I do play Switch games, which I do, I play Animal Crossing. I can't stream it, but I have considered getting Breath of the Wild. I still don't know if that's one that I will get, but
you should.
I know people keep saying that to me.
It is like, and I play a lot of RPGs. Breath of the Wild 2's like, despite whether you like the combat or the story or the setting or any of that, like just from a world design, like an open world design standpoint, Breath of the Wild's world is amazing. Like it's so well built to like, it encourages exploration like no other open world game that I can think of. Like there are just so many, they did such a good job on just like subtle things that like as you're walking through the world, like you don't like, it's not like a marker on the map where like in a lot of them, like on The Witcher or on, I don't know, any Ubisoft game where it's like a thing on the map where like, okay, I need to go here because there's a point of interest. It's more so you're walking out in the world and there's just something that catches your eye and you're like, oh, wonder what's over there. And then you go over there and then so shit just happens. And then you're like, okay, now let me try it. Like you do the thing over there and then you go back to where you're trying to go back to the original thing you were getting onto. And then another thing catches your eye. And then after you do that, another thing. And before you know it, you've like gone way off track. You're nowhere near where you were originally heading. But the entire time you've been having a lot of fun, It's cool. Like the world is just designed so well.
Yeah. I'll have to check it out then. I'll have to get it. All right, moving on. Ghost Song is a game that Abby is looking forward to. She says, super pretty upcoming Metroidvania, which is one of my favorite genres. Strikingly beautiful art and a world gameplay that looks right up Abby's alley.
Ghost Song. I love Metroidvania, so I should probably look this up.
So I read Abby's comment. What is a Metroidvania?
A Metroidvania is... Okay, so there are usually games built upon the idea that you are going through, usually they're 2D, but not always. You're going through the game and you'll naturally come to a roadblock. And usually the whole idea is you kind of like struggle because it makes it seem like, hey, you could go here. And you try and try and try, but you ultimately give up and you find an alternate route to go. And so it's essentially, it kind of like guides you through without guiding you through, and then as you go through this other route that you can go down, you'll find an item or a power up or, something, a key. Then you're like, and it clicks in your head, oh, that other thing that I couldn't pass before, now I can. And so you backtrack, you go there. And then, it's just like this ever branching map of essentially roadblocks that keep popping in your way. And then you have to like find the right way to go and the right upgrade. For instance, my favorite one of recent memory is Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is a Metroidvania and it's done so well. Like all the upgrades, the powers, where they're hidden, how you get them. They're all so neat.
Okay, perfect. Cool. I might have to write that one down too then. And Abby also says Witchbrook, which she described as Stardew Valley, but a magic school. Yes. So that description alone makes me interested in it because I love Stardew Valley. Witchbrook.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is adorable.
This is cute.
Oh, the headlines on it are Harry Potter meets Stardew RPG. Goodness, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, you should show the images on stream if you're not already.
We'll pull it on up.
Yeah, this looks super cute. Is this still considered 2D?
Yeah. I mean, it's composed. I don't know.
It looks 3D-ish in
2D.
certain.
It's just
it's still 2D.
Yeah, it's still 2D.
Yeah. This looks adorable.
Drawn in a way that makes you look like you're moving in a more three-dimensional space.
Right. Anyway, Stardew Valley plus magic and witches and Yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to agree with Abby
it's
on
very
that I
Game
would
Boy
definitely pick that up.
Advance
So
looking in its design. Like a lot of Game Boy Advance games looked this way, I feel like.
right.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
not quite
nice.
as not quite as neat and clean or like pulled back, but
Right.
like it seems like it's that style.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then kind of following along this same kind of game genre, Abby also mentioned that she's excited for Eastward. She played the demo at the end of last year and she said it was delightful. Really nice art, interesting characters, and a unique feel for it. And just to let everybody know, both Witchbrook and Eastward will both be published by Chucklefish, which is the same as Stardew Valley. So that shows hopefully a really good sign of quality. I think it will.
Oh yeah, I mean all the money that's been poured into Stardew, you have to imagine that the game after that would have a considerable amount more of funding.
Right. Cool.
I mean, it looks like Stardew.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's like a grimier Stardew. It's like Stardew that's seen some shit, right? Like
Stardew that's seen some shit.
It's got like that. It's got like grimy feel. It's like they took some grease and spread it over the screen, and now you got this game.
It does kind of have that like darker vibe to it. I kind of like that though, but I'm also a fan of, I like dark colors, so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this one looks cool. So both Eastward and Witchbook for me will also be added to my list of games that I'm excited for. I love Stardew, and it's funny because I really haven't played very much of it, and I haven't really gotten far with my Stardew farm at all.
Oh, neither have I.
When I first got the game, I always kept restarting because as I learned the game, I just figured out how to do things better, and then I wanted to restart a farm. So I haven't actually made it very far in the game. I've literally never played it. I've never made it to fall yet. Like it's only been spring and summer for me. But I still like even what I have played, I still absolutely adore it. I need to just set aside the time. This is the thing. I need time. I want more time to play games.
I feel like everybody just needs time. I wish I could just capture a bottle of time, just open it up, just anytime I need just a little bit of,
or just not have a job.
Oh, that'd be nice. I feel like that's where most of my time goes. It's it's that place where you go to trade in time for money. Kind of awful.
Yeah, kind of the thing that needs to be done. But anyway, with that, do we want to maybe turn it to chat to have them toss out some games that they're looking forward to for maybe a few minutes, and then we'll wrap things up?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's do that. So chat, tell us. Well, we already have. I want to say Magi, but I know that's wrong. You told me last night that that's wrong, and that's not how I say your name. But my brain just wants to say it. It's Magi, right?
Magi, yeah.
Magi.
Magi says, Stim. It is hard to be put on the spot. I was put on the spot by Kel when we were making the script. She's like, "What are you looking forward to?" I'm like, so much that I forgot that Silksong is the game that I'm actually most excited for coming up. But I went to Demon Souls because I just watched the PlayStation stuff.
Right. Anyway, Magi says, I'm super excited about Witchmarsh, a co-op platform RPG set in 1920 Massachusetts. Super interesting. It backed it on Kickstarter, and I can't wait to play it eventually. That sounds exciting.
And there's so many. There are just so many games coming out nowadays.
There is
so many games in development. Like I feel like there was a time where I just knew every game that was coming out, and now there's just so much. Like people bring up like, oh man, there's this big game. It's got so much crowdfunding, this, that, the other, and I'm like, I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
never heard of it.
Stim says, Warhammer 40k Darktide. We rarely get 40k action games that aren't RTS games. This one is from the same devs as Vermintide, which means it's a Left 4 Dead style 40k game, and it might be one of the most exciting trailers I've seen in ages for a 40k fan.
Oh,
nice.
See, now
Warhammer stuff is totally not my thing.
Warhammer, I only know about it because I have a friend that loves to do the painting the miniatures. which it still blows my mind how much money he puts into that hobby. Like, he was just talking about it nonchalantly, that he has an army that he could sell for like over $1,000. I'm like, you spend he's like, no, I bought it for a little bit less than that because I did the painting. I was like, who's spending $1,000 on these? But you know,
I love how Stim says we don't need to talk about the money. It's okay. MC Hale says completely different style, but what about Jackbox 7? And I will go yes to that because I have Jackbox 6 and I love it. And people say I should get the other Jackbox games.
I wish I was good at Jackbox.
I love Jackbox.
My mind does not work well, like, because it's all about being. It's all about being witty and quick on your feet. And I am neither of those things with those games. And so everything that I put out in any of the Jackbox stuff is just.
But sometimes it's hilarious though when you aren't super witty and you're like trying to come up with things like that. Can almost, depending on who you're playing with, that can almost be more entertaining than when you are super witty. But like one of my favorite Jackbox games is Fibbage because it's not like you're crafting up entire sentences or like it's not like the rap one. Like I'm not a huge fan of the rapping one.
People love that one so much, and I'm like, oh my god, I suck.
Joke Boat and Joke Boat, I seem to be okay at it, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. Joke Boat is just, but I really like, and even Dictionarium at times. Like I like Dictionarium, but sometimes that one can be a little bit tricky too because you're coming up with like definitions or like other words for things. Or coming up with a meaning to a word, so that one can be a little bit tricky for people. But Fibbage is nice because you're really only coming up with a word or two, and it's not super. It's not. I don't find it super difficult.
That's super intimidating.
Yeah, but no, I feel like it's the only issue that I have with Jackbox games is they're so expensive.
They are. It's like $25 a pack, right, or something like that.
Yeah, and I want all of them. Like I only have number 6 right now. I do want all of them, but. Yeah, but MC Hale makes a great point that we do have Jackbox 7 to look forward to, at least for people that, I mean, I do community game streams all the time. So like, I definitely want to add to the inventory of community games that I have that can involve the stream chat. Mikey is excited for Final Fantasy 16, still one of my all-time favorite franchises.
I'm so glad that they're going back to like Final Fantasy. Like I love Final Fantasy, but for they've been too far removed from like the traditional, like, I don't know, I suppose medieval setting with Final Fantasy. Like a lot of times, like they've been very futuristic or steampunk styled in the last iterations. And so I'm super excited that it looks like they're going back to a more medieval type, and it looks, and it's very grown up. This one, they put blood in the trailer. There's blood being shown, and I'm like, oh, Final Fantasy's never really shown blood. This is amazing.
I'm so used to blood. I'm so used to blood from other games that I play.
Yeah, Final Fantasy kind of since that tier, it's like they steer away from that. They want to get that T for teen, but it looks like they're kind of like bridging into M for mature, and I'm excited to see what that allows them to do.
It's so weird that blood has to be as soon as there's blood, then it has to be mature.
Nixed. Yep.
Anyway, Happy is excited for Super Mario 3D World. It was the final great Wii U game that I feel wasn't on the Switch, and now it's coming in February, and I got no reason to own a Wii U anymore. And also Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, all 9 movies in one game that you can jump back and forth in. Lego style sounds amazing. Those are both from Happy.
Yo, the Lego games are just like, they're really just dumb fun. Like, you just kind of run.
I've never played a Lego
Really? You
game.
never played one of them?
No.
They're so good. Like they have the Lord of the Rings ones, the Star Wars ones, and the Harry Potter ones. Mm-hmm. And they're all so much fun.
I've considered one of them, but yeah, I just haven't jumped on it yet, but maybe I will one day. Maggie also says, also really looking forward to Stray, which is basically Cyberpunk, but you're a cat. It's hard to explain, but you're going to love the screenshots.
Wait, what? Who? What?
Stray.
Stray game.
Look at this cat simulator for PS4 and PS5.
Wait, is that the one with that's the one? Okay, that's the PlayStation 5 where they just showed the cat wearing what was like a vest.
Oh my gosh, so cute.
Is it what? Wait, what's the game supposed to be? What's it supposed to be about?
Maggie said basically Cyberpunk, but you're a cat.
Oh. Yeah, am I gonna have like? Am I gonna be able to?
Here, let me see
like,
if we've got a
story.
Okay, here we go. Lost alone and separated from family, a stray cat must untangle an ancient mystery to escape a long-forgotten city. Stray is a third-person cat adventure game set amidst the detailed neon-lit alleys of a decaying cyber city and the murky environments of its seedy underbelly. Yeah, Maggie said it's a cyberpunk exploration indie adventure.
Okay, all right.
Kind of looks cool. So, and it's published by Annapurna Interactive, who are a quality stamp of their own.
I love the quality stamps. I don't want no stamps that are falling off.
Stim said Dying Light 2 and also Bloodlines 2. Surely someone else likes vampires and RPGs.
See, I would love, one thing I've always really wanted is I just want a really good RPG centered around werewolves and vampires. That's it. Like just those two. Fun. Just those two. And like even like I don't know, you can have it be like I just want it to be an RPG centered around those. I was really excited for a vampire. It turns out I heard not too good things about it though. I never played it. I was excited about that game Vampire. I was like, oh, a game all centered around just like being like a classic vampire. And I was like, that sounds dope. And then I looked into it. I was like, oh, maybe not. Move on to the next one. They'll get them next time.
Nice. Cool. All right. Well, with that, we're closing in at just about the 2-hour mark for this stream again. I honestly think that no matter what Joe and I do, I don't think we're ever going to have a 1-hour long podcast. There is just too much news to talk about lately. And I think it's because we do every 2 weeks. Stuff builds up. For sure. Like and especially once we start getting guests on here, which I think probably the next podcast we're gonna get guests on here. That'll end up really making this. I'm excited for that. Now that we've had 2 under our belt where it's been just us 2, I'm excited to bring guests on because honestly, that means that you and I actually won't end up talking all that much. We're gonna be kind of like the interviewers.
I can rest my voice.
Anyway, guys, we do have a lot of topics planned with fellow Nook members to be guests on with us. So stay tuned for an announcement of when the next podcast will be and what the topic will be. Still unplanned as of right now, but we will get that figured out and let you guys know. Thank you. Kaino, I just saw your comment. Can't wait to not be talking to you.
Yeah. Suck it. I didn't want to talk to you all anyway.
That's not what I meant. But yeah, anyways, guys, thank you so much for being here again for the second episode of the NookCast. Hopefully all of this talk about anticipated games, maybe you've added some to your list. Maybe we talked about some games that you've never even heard of that were coming out. I know for Joe and I, a lot of these games we definitely didn't actually know about.
Yeah, it's like this whole thing, it's just been an experience of where you think you're a gamer and then people just start tossing out all these things. I'm like, fuck, I'm not a gamer. What am I?
Yeah.
I'm living a lie over here.
Anyway, let's go raid a fellow Nookin. We actually have a few of them are live right now. We've got Twiggy and Hecky and Jimmy is live. Jimbles. We've got Fraz. We've got King Argaroth.
We always go see King because and tell him, and we can send the message you done goofed because he was the last one to goof, right? On the big dig. He did goof.
Was he the last one though?
Was there another death after King?
I don't know if there was.
Oh, was his just the big goof?
I don't recall if there was or not, but would you guys want to go say hi to King? We can go say hi to King. King is currently playing a game called Dreadout, Keepers of... It's cutting off for me. Let me pull this up big. Dreadout, Keepers of the Dark is what King Argaroth is currently playing right now. So we can go say hi to him. What raid message should we spam for him? Is King called cutie because he should be? You know what? We could let's actually do raid spam where it's hey cutie. Hey cutie, and then put whatever emotes around it that you have. We could do the pride hearts. We could let me I want to like prepare a raid message, but at the same time, like
one, but I like this one.
We don't know. Oh my gosh, look at Tugs. That's great. Yeah, let's do Hey Cutie with whatever emotes you want around that to spam in King's chat. Let's get the raid fired up here. Beautiful. All right, now that the raid has kicked off, once again, guys, just thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here, for hanging out with us today during this podcast. So thank you.
Oh, you got on a little robo there. It's all right. Well, anyway, I'm sure KL is saying thank you all for showing up to the live stream, as well as listening in. If you happen to be on YouTube or just listening back to this VOD later, I'm sorry if with the rambles. Sometimes we ramble, at least for like 2 hours. So okay.
Yeah, but
have a great rest of your day.
That's what a podcast is, rambling, right?
Yeah. Thanks for listening to me talk nonsense for 2 hours. It's been great.
All right, guys, thank you so much, and we will catch you next time. Please make sure you are following us on all of our socials, the Nook Twitch, and our YouTube channel. Thanks again for being here, and we'll catch you next time. Joe and KL out.
Bye-bye.